Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Saran Dilip and I am going to teach you software testing. So here is the content for today. Today we will learn about the difference between manual and automated test cases. Then we will learn about the test selection guidelines, that why the test cases are selected for the automation. Next we are having the characteristics for the automated test cases. In the next step, we are going to learn about the steps that are used to make a test case, that is automated test case. And last but not least, that what are the implications for the manual test cases. So for now, you must know that in unit testing, basically unit testing is, you can say, the first step towards the testing. So it's very important, because if the units are okay, obviously then you can integrate those units, and that after the integration testing you can perform the system testing and acceptance testing. But if the unit testing will be having certain faults and defects, obviously when you will integrate those faulty units, you cannot get a good result afterwards, right? So basically unit testing is your basic test. So in unit testing, basically we perform different sort of testing, that is manual testing versus automated testing. We perform both of them, but in certain specific scenarios. So what are those? We will be learning in this lecture. So to test the system or to test a unit again and again repetitively, it is very hectic and very expensive. So we cannot perform it manually, because we are going to repeat the test cases. So if we'll do manually, it will cost a lot, right? So how should we do it? These test cases should be automated, because they cannot be performed manually, as if we will do those make those test cases and perform the testing manually, and it will be very costly and very hectic. It will consume a lot of effort, right? So if we will shift towards the automated test cases for such repetitive testing, then obviously we will get some software and it will make our work easy. So definitely in a system or software which you have developed, there can be memory leaks, right? So you cannot detect those memory leaks while doing the manual efforts again and again. Definitely if you will be justifying your code and you want to do the automated test, you want to perform the automated testing, and you want to execute the automated test cases over your code, then obviously you will get those memory leaks revealed, right? So it means that there are a lot of situations in which the manual test cases are not good, rather you can use the automated test cases. So you may have an example that if a lot of people in a certain specific time are accessing your website for a longer period of time, and there's a load on the website or server side for a longer period of time, obviously it means that there's a stress on the website, right? So now you are performing the stress test. What is stress test? Basically it is a worst case load for an extended period of time. But means you cannot perform it manually, right? You cannot detect the stress over the website manually. Rather what you have to do is you have to perform automated test, you have to drive those automated test cases, you have to perform the automated testing to reveal such defects in your code, or to reveal such load or stress testing, right? So there are some scenarios that you must use automated testing, and in those scenarios basically manual testing is not good or not preferable. So now we have basically test selection guidelines for test automation, that among the variety of test cases, there could be a lot of basically test cases that could be run manually, that could be run automatically. So which test cases should be run manually, and for the automated test cases, which test cases should be selected. So basically it's guideline for the test automation, that which test cases should be selected for automation. Now the test cases that lie in these 6 categories can be assumed as the test automated bodies, or you can say that for the automated test cases. These test cases should be less volatile, repeatability, high risk, easy to automate, manually difficult, boring, and time consuming. We will discuss them one by one. First of all, a test case should be less volatile. It means that if you are going to make a test case for a certain code, it should be less volatile. It is unlikely to change over the time. So basically, what does it mean? It means that the test case should have been executed manually before. It is expected that the test step and the pass fail criteria are not likely to change anymore, right? So it means that if the test case is unlikely to change over the time, so it is less volatile, and yes, you can use it for the automated test cases. While there is another scenario that if a test case is going to change over the time, and after a certain time you need to modify the test case, obviously that should not be automated in a certain way, because if it is automated, we have to make efforts to modify the test cases, right? So if it is going to change over the time, then you may use manual test cases for that specific time. But if it is not going to change over the time and it is less volatile, then obviously you should prefer the automated test case. Now the second point is about repeatability. One-time test cases should not be considered for automated test cases. It means that if the test cases are built for to run only once, then why should they be automated? Why should we write the code for automated test case, right? If they are repeatable and they have to be executed again and again and they are repeatable, obviously then you should use the automated test case. Actually, so it is very simple that the test cases that are going to be executed several times should be automated, right? So those test cases which we need to run over time, and they are repeatable, obviously automated test cases should be preferred, because if you want to do the run the test cases again and again, and you are preferring the manual test cases, then it's very hectic task. It consumes a lot of time and it consumes a lot of effort. It's a very hectic process. So you must do it automatically, and you must automate those test cases so that on a single click you can get your desired result, and a lot of test cases can run in a single click, right? So that's why for repeatability you should prefer the automated test case. Then there is other factor, that is high risk. So basically your certain code is at high risk, because if you want to modify it or you want to make a change in it, obviously you should run the test cases to check that if there is any mistake or not. So those test cases that check the risky elements, they are high risk test cases. They are run again and again to identify those errors, right? So due to this repeatability and due to this nature of running the test case again and again, these test cases are right candidate for automation, means the category of high risk, they should be automated, and we should prefer the automated test cases and we should not prefer manual test cases, because if we are going to do it manually and to check the high risk elements manually, it will take a lot of time, because we will repeat those test cases after a single change. We will repeat it again and again, and it is very difficult to do it manually, because it will take a lot of time, a lot of efforts, and it's very hectic too. So you must prefer the automated test cases for in this scenario. Now there is another thing, that the test cases should be easy to automate, should be automated if they are easy to be. So basically, if the tools are available and if you have resources, then why not automate those test cases by using the automation tools, obviously. So if you think that the test cases are easy to automate, then preferably you should make them automated, and you should not worry about the manual difficulty, right? So if they are easy to automate, you should go for it. Then there is another thing, that is if the test cases are to be run manually and they are difficult, right? So you should prefer the automated test cases. So you should make the test cases automated. So why they are manually difficult? Because there may be complex problems, and for human it's very difficult to identify the complex problems in a very short time. You can take an example of a chess game. That, for example, you say that if two people are playing the chess game, it's very difficult for a person to determine the far future in a chess game, because obviously they are humans and they cannot think in that far future scenario. However, if there is a computer versus human, so a computer can think far future in a better way, right? So it means that if there is a complex problem, it is difficult for an average human to run the manual test case and to identify that complex problems and to resolve that complexity or to identify the errors in it. But for the computer, it is easy. When you get the automated test case, it will identify the errors and mistakes, right? And there is basically another thing, that manual test execution are basically big problem, because for example, you can say that causing eye strain from having to look at too many screens for too long in a GUI test. So it is basically not good for human to concentrate on a screen for a longer time. So in automated test case, once you click on those scenario or on the test cases of, you get those mistakes identified. Now it's about boring and time consuming. It means that why not to use the tester times for the creative and effective test cases, and why should they put on the manual testing efforts, so they repeat the test cases manually again and again, and it consumes a lot of their time. So to stop this boring and time consuming thing, what should we do? We should make the test cases automated, right? So in this way, they will get rid of those boring things, and they will be put that effort in the creativity and the effectiveness of the other test cases, so they can put their efforts for testing the softwares for the other softwares for the other scenarios, and rather running the test cases manually over a simple code. So these are the guidelines for test automation. I may read all the things again. They're less volatile, repeatability, high risk, easy to automate, manually difficult, boring, and time consuming. So if you think that if these things are valid and you are thinking about these terms, obviously you should prefer the automated test cases over manual test cases. So if you think that a test case is less volatile, it is repeatable, it is at high risk, it is easy to automate, it is difficult to run it manually, and it is boring and time consuming to run the test cases again and again manually, so you should prefer the automated test cases. So make those test cases automated if you think that they lie in this category. So now let's begin with the characteristics of automated test cases. That if now you have decided to make a set of test cases, they should be automated. So it means that the following characteristics should be there in those automated test cases, right? So that test case which you are going to develop for automated version, it should be simple, it should be modular, it should be robust and reliable, it should be reusable, it should be maintainable, it should be documented, and it should be independent and self-sufficient. So these are the characteristics for the test cases that you are going to automate those. So I should explain it one by one. First of all, simple. So the test case, basically it should have a single object. Basically multi-objective test cases are difficult to understand and design. There should not be more than 10 to 15 test steps per test case. Each test case, basically it has some steps to be followed, so it should not exceed 10 to 15, and obviously it should be for a single purpose and should not be multi-purpose test case, right? So make the test cases as simple as you can. Okay, the next one is about modular. So it is about the test steps. So those test steps that are extracted from the reusable libraries, they should be put together to form multi-step test cases. It can have a setup phase, it can have a cleanup phase, setup phase at the start of test case and cleanup phase at the end of the test case, right? So you must know about it that cleanup, what is cleanup phase? It puts the system back in the initial state. That was the prior state prior to setup basically. So each test step should be small and precise. Very clear statements should be written, very clear code should be written in the modular approach. The next one is about robustness and reliability. So if we are going to assign the verdict or a pass or fail situation to any test case, that either it is passed or failed, so we should do in such a way that it should be very clear, unambiguous and understandable. So let's suppose that you're going to match two pictures or two images. So how should they be matched? So if you are going to run a good test case, basically that will ignore certain trivial factors. For example, if one pixel is not matched and rest of the picture is matched, so what should be the result? It should be passed because those images are equivalent or those images are copy of each other. But it is not robustness or it is not reliability that if only due to one pixel you fail the test case, right? So the next one is reusable. So it means that there are test steps in each test case and they should be configurable, that the variables in those test steps should not be hard coded. So where should they get values from? Basically those test steps should get the values from the file that is configurable file. So basically you configure that file and they get the input from that file, right? So it's easy. But if you will make the test cases and define the variables hard coded, it is difficult to for the automated test case to run on it. So the test cases should be reusable. It should be defined in a way that it should be reusable. And how can they be reusable? When you define the variables, they should not be hard coded and they take a file or they take the values from those configurable files. So the next is maintainable. So what is maintainable? It is basically about the maintaining the code, that it should comply with the standard code formats, and the other thing is that all the test cases should be controlled with a version control system. It means that if you are going to change the code against which the test cases are developed, so basically version is changing. So in a version control system where the versions are changing, the changes should be reflected to the test cases and test cases should be modified accordingly. So all those test cases should be controlled with a version control system. That's why they should be maintainable. Okay, the next one is about documentation. So all the test cases should be documented. All descriptions should be clearly written, that who has created the test case, why it is created, under which scenario, which software it demands, and what are the environment requirements for the test case, and what is the test purpose. That should be clear and understandable basically. So the creator name, the date of creation, and the modification date and other description as well, it should be documented so that it is automated test cases, so it may be repeatable and it should be run again and again. So that's why if it is not documented, who will catch the error, and how can the errors be caught? As these test cases can be run again and again, so when it will be run again, it should have a description about when it was run first and how it was modified. So until and unless you don't have the documentation and description of the test case, how will you bother it to run again, right? So you must have a documented file of the test cases with description, with clear description and the creator name, so that you can go to that tester and ask for the modification of that test case or other thing you may know. So now it's last one, that is independent and self-sufficient. So Independent and self-sufficient means that a test case should be self-sufficient and it should be independent of the other test cases. So you should design each and every test case in a way that it should be cohesive in nature, right? But you should make it sure that one test case should be independent of the other test case, because if they are dependent, it means that one test case cannot be run without the other one. So if it is not a good approach. So for example, if you have made test cases in sequence and one is dependent on the other, so think of the scenario that if a test case has failed and it is generating certain output and saying that it has failed. So if the B test case is dependent on A, so how can you run the B test case? Because if the B test case is made to run, it will, and it is dependent on A. If A is failed, then obviously B will also get failed, because they both are dependent on each other. So two test cases should be independent of each other, that one result of one test case should not affect the input or the output of the other test case, right? So a test case should be independent and it should be self-sufficient. So these are the characteristics of the test case. I hope you have done it well. That simple, modular, robust and reliable, reusable, maintainable, documented, and they should be independent and self-sufficient. Now you must learn about the 6 major steps in automated test cases, that when you make the automated test cases, how they are made to run. So these are the 6 steps: set up, drive the test, capture the response, determine the verdict, log the verdict, clean up. So it's very easy that first of all you have one thing, that is setup. So setup basically includes the steps to check that either the network requirements are met, the hardware requirements are met, the variables are set at their good position, and other parameters that are needed for system under test, they are specific and they are configured or not, and other variables are initialized or not. So all the basically prerequisites are checked in your setup phase, right? The next step is to drive the test. Drive means to run the test. So basically it is the test case is run in the environment. So basically input data is given to the test case and test case is driven. So it means that you are driving that test case in a real environment, and you are now able to understand the real picture of the test case, that how it is capturing the response. The next phase is to capture the response. Obviously once you have make the test case driven, you have to capture the response, that either the test case has failed or it has passed. So it all depends upon the manipulation of the output, right? So how you have manipulated the output or how you have identified the output, it all depends on it. So once you have captured the response, now the next step is to determine the verdict. Now you determine the status of the test case, that either it is passed or failed. So actual outcome here, it is compared with the expected outcome. Your actual outcome of the method or of the unit is matched with or is compared with the expected value that you are expecting from the method, right? So if the method is run and it is executed, basically the actual outcome is taken. However, if you have not executed the method and you are expecting certain value from it before you make that test case or make the method run, so that is your expected value. So here you are comparing both the values, as you have studied in the previous lecture, that we are having an assert equals method, right? It comes under the assertions. So you are going to compare two values, that is expected value and actual value. So if they both get compared and they return a good value, that is true, it means they both are compared and they both are equal. So in this case the test case is passed, otherwise it got failed. So the next one is log the verdict. It means that once you have got the result that either the test case is pass or fail, you have assigned the value or assigned the verdict to the test case. Now you can log that verdict, that which test case has got a pass status and which test case has fallen in the category of failed test cases. So you are now logging it, you are saving it in a certain document or file. And at last, what you are to clean up the whole test case file. So how it is performed, because you have to set the environment in the prior format, or in the where the variables were defined and where it was in the setup phase. So you have to clean up all. So once the test case is cleaned, it means that now it is in its original state and the next test case can be now executed. We have till now we have studied about the implication of automated test cases, that what are its characteristics, why should a test case be automated. But now, if all the test cases are to be automated, then what is the implication of manual test case? So here it is, that it is important to remember that the test automation cannot replace manual testing. So we have both scenarios, that there is one scenario in which we make the test cases automated, but there are also a lot of scenarios in which we make manual test cases. You know that the human creativity, variability and observability cannot be mimicked with through automation, right? So as I have told you in the start of lecture, that there are a lot of problems that should be clearly observed with human eye, right? So here manual efforts should be done and not automated. So certain categories of tests such as usability test, interoperability test, robustness and compatibility, they are not suited for automation. For example, if we say that usability, that how the system is usable for us. So how can we test it automatically, right? So if we are going to run it with automated test cases, obviously it cannot predict that much good result which a human can make. If you are going to make the 100% automated test cases against the available code, so it would be very difficult for you. It will be same like to make another project, another software system. So it's very hectic to produce all the code. So if you think that the test case is to be run once, so you should prefer the manual test cases rather automated test cases. So there are different scenarios how to fit a test case for automated, or how to fit it in manual category. So there will always be a need for some manual testing. Even if all the system level test cases are automated, there is always a need for the manual test cases. So here's the reference, and if you have any questions, you can post in the comments, and thank you very much.